Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we try to cut through all the information noise and get to the essential knowledge you need with absolutely zero filler. Today, we are undertaking a deep dive into what is really a blueprint for human interaction. It's the enduring wisdom from Dale Carnegie's foundational work, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Hmm.
We're focusing on the principles that deal with our relationships, with self-management, and with that universal struggle of overcoming worry.
And that's such an important distinction to make. I mean, the original book, it came out way back in 1936.
A long time ago.
But these principles, they're not some, dusty old text about manners. They're a really profound, timeless study of human psychology. What motivates us, what hurts us, what really inspires us to change.
Right.
So our goal here is pretty simple. We want to extract those core insights that can help you manage daily frustration, communicate better, and just gain control over your own emotions.
Because honestly, that's where it all starts, isn't it? Whether you're dealing with a difficult colleague or trying to navigate a tricky family thing or even just dealing with that constant background hum of stress,
Yeah.
the root causes are always the same. We feel like we can't persuade people, we're in some kind of emotional turmoil, and we wonder why happiness feels so far away.
So that's our mission.
Yeah.
To find the practical, warm techniques from this material that you can use, right away
Mhm.
to start transforming those challenges.
And to do that, we've broken this down into two main parts.
Right. So first, we'll unpack the bedrock principles of dealing with the external world, the art of human interaction.
And then,
And then we pivot inward. We'll apply those same insights to our inner lives, how we find joy, how we conquer anxiety.
okay, let's just dive right in. The first foundational principle for dealing with people. This one is. It's a huge challenge because it just flies in the face of our gut reaction.
It really does.
The rule is never criticize, blame, or complain.
It sets the highest possible bar, doesn't it,
Yep.
for maturity. But Carnegie's insight here is so crucial. He says criticism isn't just unhelpful,
No.
it's actively dangerous. Because think about it, it never changes the facts of a situation. All it does is force the other person to defend themselves.
Instantly, the walls go right up.
The walls go up, it damages their self-esteem, and even worse, it almost inevitably incites resentment, a lasting resentment.
I think we've all been on both sides of that. The moment criticism lands, your brain just flips straight to self-defense, not self-correction.
Exactly.
So this raises a really practical question. If we can't criticize, how do we handle situations where, performance is genuinely poor or feedback is just absolutely necessary?
And that's the core challenge. The principles teach that you have to understand the deep psychological craving that you're up against, because the only effective way to motivate someone is by making them feel important, recognized.
That desire for validation, for significance, the feeling that you matter.
It's a profound human hunger. It's not surface level. And we see it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Historical figures wanting grand titles, people today on social media seeking likes. It's constant.
So the alternative to criticism isn't silence, it's what?
It's genuine, sincere appreciation. People love honest praise. They treasure it. But, and this is a big but, we have to distinguish that from empty flattery.
Right. Flattery feels cheap. It's usually pretty transparent that you're trying to get something.
It has an ulterior motive.
Mm.
Whereas sincere appreciation that requires you to actually pause,
Yeah.
to observe,
Yeah.
to find the verifiable merits in what someone did.
Something specific.
Yes, exactly. When you notice something specific, the careful way they handled a task or a positive trait they showed, the praise feels authentic. It sticks. It validates their sense of self-worth.
That connects perfectly to the second core idea for influencing people, the golden rule of motivation. You have to stop talking about what you want, and you have to start focusing almost exclusively on what the other person wants.
This is a huge, huge shift in perspective. And Carnegie's famous analogy about fishing just captures it perfectly.
Strawberries and cream one.
That's the one. As humans, we might love strawberries and cream, right? But if you're trying to catch a fish, you use what the fish prefers.
You bait the hook to suit the fish, not yourself.
You bait the hook to suit the fish, worms or grasshoppers. And yet, we spend so much of our time trying to bait people with our own strawberries and cream.
We do. We talk about our urgency, our deadlines, why our idea makes sense, but we never translate it into their language.
Precisely. And the source suggests that this is kind of an immature way to operate, just focusing on our own needs. The only way to truly influence someone is to talk about what they value.
Their goals, their problems.
Yes. And then you show them how doing what you suggest helps them get what they want.
I can almost hear a listener pushing back on that, though. Doesn't that feel a little, I don't know, manipulative or
Yeah,
calculating?
it's a great question, and it's a necessary one. The difference really is in the sincerity of your goal. If your goal is genuinely defined common ground, a mutual benefit, if you truly believe your idea helps them too, then focusing on their needs isn't manipulation. It's the highest form of empathy.
So it's about seeing the situation from both sides and finding that overlap.
Right, where everyone can win. And that shift is hard. The source says that something like 90% of people miss this perspective shift 90% of the time.
Wow, that's a lot. It takes real conscious effort.
It does.
And that kind of effort, that mental energy, it leads us perfectly to our pivot. Because if we're going to be that deliberate and empathetic with other people, we have to master our inner game first.
We have to.
We have to deal with our own stress, our own worry, and our own search for joy.
And the first barrier to tackle there is worry. The primary technique the book offers is this concept of living in day-tight compartments.
Day-tight compartments. Tell me more about that.
Well, the idea is that worry isn't really caused by a burden itself, but by an over-heavy burden, the cumulative weight of everything.
So stress just piles up.
It piles up gradually, and then it suddenly breaks us. The book uses this image of a bear being killed by an over-heavy load, not just a normal one.
And the practical visualization here is what makes it so powerful. You mentally slam shut an iron door on the past.
All of yesterday's mistakes and regrets sealed off.
And then you slam another iron door shut on the future tomorrow's anxieties, all the what-ifs.
Right. And you make yourself safe and productive just within the confines of today.
It forces you into the only place you can actually do anything, the present.
The present moment. And this approach is so important, especially when you think about what the source calls the worry beetles.
Ah, yes, the worry beetles. I love that image.
It's great, isn't it? The idea is that we often survive the big storms in life, the major crises, only to be completely overwhelmed by these small, annoying worry beetles, the little trivial anxieties that we sweat over.
Things that, honestly, we could probably just ignore.
We could. But we spend so much energy on what might happen in 3 weeks that we exhaust ourselves.
Yeah.
We have no capacity left to handle what's happening right now. The day-tight compartment starves those beetles.
So let's connect that idea of a focused presence to happiness, because we often make this huge mistake of deferring our joy.
All the time.
We think happiness is a reward we'll get after we achieve the goal, after we get the job, buy the house, find the relationship.
And when happiness is always deferred, the source says life becomes distorted. It's not a future prize, it's a capacity, something we have to build right here in the present.
And how do we build it?
By focusing on a higher mission or a purpose, by setting clear goals and then actually acting on them.
And one of the most powerful ways to build that capacity comes from the principle that true joy often comes from serving others.
There's a beautiful, almost shocking action item here.
Which is?
It's the anecdote about Dr. Adler, who would advise his depressed patients. He'd tell them, do one good deed daily to make someone else happy and you'll be cured in 14 days.
That's an amazing claim.
It is. But that external focus, serving someone else, it forces us out of our own internal self-critical loop. By helping others, you inadvertently help yourself.
It reframes everything, from what you lack internally to what you can contribute externally.
Exactly.
And that kind of enlightens self-interest. It leads straight into personal growth and maturity. It starts with self-acceptance.
Absolutely. The path to maturity means you have to accept yourself. And that means focusing on your strengths, appreciating your own advantages.
The source uses the analogy of, say, Shakespeare or Dickens. We appreciate their genius despite maybe a few minor flaws in their work.
We do. We don't discard Shakespeare because of one awkward line, and yet we're so quick to discard ourselves because we fixate on one tiny perceived flaw.
Expecting perfection either in ourselves or other people is just, it's foolish.
It's a waste of energy. That fixation on imperfections just drains the energy we need to actually use our real strengths.
And that self-acceptance is tied directly to what the source calls the first step toward maturity.
Which is taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility for your actions instead of always finding an external excuse or blaming your environment. You can't just, kick the chair when something goes wrong.
No, because when you assign blame externally, you give away your power. You're saying you can't change things.
But when you accept your role,
you regain your agency. You can move forward. It's the ultimate act of emotional self-control.
This paints such a complete picture, moving from our outward interactions all the way to our own inner state. So let's finish with 3 immediate, actionable shifts you can make today, right now.
Okay, first, in all your communications, make that intentional swap. Replace criticism with sincere, genuine appreciation. Look for one real merit in someone you talk to today and praise that specific thing.
Second, the very next time you need to persuade someone or influence a decision, ruthlessly focus the conversation, like 90% of it, on the other person's needs. Show them explicitly how your idea helps them.
And third, internally, commit to those day-tight compartments. When an anxiety about tomorrow or a regret about yesterday pops into your head, you mentally isolate it. Refuse to be bothered by the worry beetles.
At the end of the day, this whole deep dive really hinges on conviction and action. Understanding these principles is totally useless unless that belief is turned into action, day after day.
True maturity isn't just knowing the map. It's having the courage to actually take the journey.
So our challenge to you is to start small.
Very small. Identify one person you will sincerely praise before the end of the day, or just one anxiety about the future that you're going to mentally lock outside of today's compartment right now.
Because that is the essential first step toward becoming that individual. This source describes mature in thought, friendly in conduct, and in full control of your own emotions.
Now go put that wisdom to work.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.